Very good afternoon to you all. Good morning, sir. In this moment of ICCM 2021, task of introducing our keynote speaker, Professor Gary Dessler, who is a business educator, administrator, consultant, corporate director, and an author, is a great privilege to me. I'm so pleased to introduce our living legend in human resource management as a keynote speaker today. Professor Gary Dessler obtained his Bachelor of Science degree from New York University in 1966, Master of Science degree from Rensselaer's Polytechnic Institute in 1967, then the Doctor of Philosophy degree, City University of New York in 1973. Professor Gary Dessler, as a founding professor at Florida International University, served for many years in its College of Business, teaching courses in human resource management, strategic management, and general management. He contributes a lot on his textbooks writing and research, consultations, giving lectures, seminars, and courses in all around the world on modern human resource management practices, maintaining positive employee relations, employee engagement, strategic management, leadership development, and talent management. Rather, my words, his books are speaking a lot. As you all are aware, that readers in worldwide use Gary Dessler's Human Resource Management, Fundamentals of Human Resource Management, and the Framework of Human Resource Management in total more than 10 languages in international editions, including Russian, Spanish, French, Arabic, Thai, Greek, and Chinese. He has published so many articles on employee commitment, leadership, supervision, quality improvement, and human resource management practices in the journal, including Academy of Management Executive, Advanced Management Journal, Personal Journal in Human Resource Management, and International Journal of Service Management. Despite all the hardships comes from the COVID-19, in this moment of ICCM will be recorded in the history of University of Jaffna. So please, audience, I request keep your mind open and be free to listen his words of wisdom. And thank you very much, sir, for being with us. It's a great time for us to live with your words. And that's all together. We all welcome to our conference. And this forum is yours. Over to you. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for that invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. Let's see, I want to make sure, does everybody hear what I'm saying? Is everything working properly? Hello?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, that's fine. If we could put the first slide up. Well, I've been asked to give, say a couple of words today about the subject of issues and challenges of sustainable development for human resource managers, and that's what I would like to do. The main point I wanted to make is that this year, the human resource manager worldwide, the priority in 2021 was generally to deal with the pandemic's effects. On the other hand, however, it's absolutely essential that HR managers understand that they also face the ongoing challenge of also crafting their longer term HR strategies to help build competitive, productive, sustainable businesses. As an example, the World Bank's country director for Sri Lanka said recently that businesses should play an important role in helping the government to mitigate the pandemic social and economic consequences, and in helping to protect and ensure the well-being of their societies and other stakeholders while supporting their strategic goals. In the short run, as we've all experienced, HR's immediate human resource management's immediate pandemic-related priorities have included developing policies and procedures for addressing problems such as providing personal protective equipment and COVID-19 safety practices, social distances, mental health and well-being, and managing remote work and employee communication and telecommunication systems. In 1920 in particular, that consumed an enormous part of most HR managers' time. And as we get into 1921, as we are, it's going to be important to increasingly focus on their strategic challenges. I want to again paraphrase the World Bank's Sri Lanka director. He said the priority this past year has been to weather the immediate crisis while laying a strong foundation to be able to move ahead with building competitive, productive, sustainable, and resilient businesses within their societies. So for human resource managers, the big challenge during the period is not only to address these short-term challenges, as for organizing remote learning, but to also translate societal and corporate goals into actionable human resource practices, which is the same as saying that human resource managers have got to master strategic human resource management. Let me say a word about what strategic human resource management strategy is. Strategic human resource management, I would define as consisting of three components. Number one, formulating and executing human resource policies and practices. Number two, that produce the employee competencies and behaviors the company needs. Number three, to achieve its strategic goals. So strategic human resource management, just to review quickly again, to repeat, means formulating and executing human resource management policies and practices that produce the employee competencies and behaviors the company needs to achieve its strategic goals. The government of Sri Lanka has adopted all or part of 17 sustainable development goals. These goals include, for example, no poverty, zero hunger, health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water, decent work, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities, responsible consumption, and climate action, and decent work. In turn, each one of those sustainable goals If you go to statistics.gov.lk, each one of those sustainable development goals has a number of sub-goals or indicators that businesses can use to operationalize how they're going to pursue those goals. From business's point of view, you could ask, why are these societal goals important to businesses? And the answer is that for a variety of reasons, including the fact that societies tend to translate these societal goals into laws. Companies adopt these societal goals as their own and bake them into their organizational strategies. HR then plays a role in achieving those goals. So the sustainable goals are translated through laws and various other methods into business goals, and the business goals then become part of the strategies of the organizations, and the human resource manager's role and challenge during this period is therefore to continue to formulate policies and procedures that allow their departments and their companies to pursue these societal sustainable development goals. In other words, again, as I said before, HR policies and practices produce the employee behaviors that are needed to achieve the company's strategic goals. I could give you an example of how they might do that. For the Sustainable Development Goal of gender equality, one of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals adopted by Sri Lanka, for the Sustainable Development Goal of gender equality is sustainable, ensure a woman's full and effective participation and equal opportunities. So again, each one of these 17 Sustainable Development Goals have got subsidiary indicators or sub-goals that can be used by businesses to operationalize and pursue the goal. And one of the sub-goals for gender equality is ensure a woman's full and effective participation and equal opportunities. In order to help his or her business pursue that goal, the HR manager will then formulate human resource policies and practices that produce the employee behaviors that'll enable the company to move toward achieving that target. In recruitment, for example, he would formulate policies and practices that emphasize recruiting women, identify gaps in recruitment and retention of women, and implement an action plan to attract more female applicants. He or his department could formulate workforce flexibility policies to help employees juggle conflicting work-life challenges. They could implement formal mentoring programs to help identify and develop women who seek higher roles. So again, there are a number of steps, policies and practices that the human resource manager should formulate in order to ensure that their organization is on track to help develop the women necessary to achieve society's greater sustainability goal in terms of gender equality. I give one more example. For the Sustainable Development Goal, decent work and economic development. One target for the sustainability goal, decent work and economic growth, is protect labor rights and promote safe and secure working environments. Again, employers should play a major role in achieving labor rights and employee safety targets. With respect to employee safety, for instance, the HR manager would institutionalize the company's commitment to worker safety with a broad and explicit safety policy. They'd make sure that top management is illustrating their commitment to worker safety. They'll publicize the worker safety policy. They'll give safety matters high priority, in part by emphasizing top management's commitment to employee safety. The main point I want to make, again, in conclusion, is that the HR manager's priority in 1920-21 was often to deal with the pandemic's effects. For example, by instituting remote communication programs and telecommunication and teleworking. At the same time, the enormous challenge for human resource managers at any time, but particularly now, given the pressure of these immediate challenges, is the challenge of also crafting longer-term HR strategies that help build competitive, productive, sustainable businesses within their society. Those were the main words I wanted to say. I want to thank everybody for being here and for the invitation. And it was a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand it over to the host at this point.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your